Okay, so FM26 is going to be a huge year for the Football Manager franchise, and I firmly believe it will come at the end of this calendar year. So today, I want to talk about my top 5 things that I want to see in FM26, almost like a wish list that I think should be on the game, and I've got a slight feeling will be on the game as well as we head into a massively updated new era. And the first thing I want to say is I do firmly believe FM26 will be coming out, whether it's called FM26 or just Football Manager and it goes to a different yearly scale of paying a membership. Who knows? But I do think we get a new game this year. There's way too much money invested in licensing and things. And when you look into like the Sega reports from their investor reports, it all looks like there's a game coming in this year. So a lot of the stress, I think, is done from the lack of communication, which I understand the stress. I also understand the lack of communication. I personally think as a marketing strategy, the worst thing they could do right now is release a roadmap and say, oh, look, guys, we're going to show you some gameplay in a few months' time. I think everyone will be fuming. I think everyone just wants a drop of gameplay, a drop of a feature list and an actual sort of video that can go alongside a reveal. So I think that's where they're waiting to release. I think that'll come end of July, start of August, and I actually think that's fine. I think we have to just wait until then and let them do their thing. So let's get in to a wish list of what I want to see in the brand new game. Now, number 1 for me, we're going to touch on tactics, and that might surprise a few people. I'm a rebuild channel. I like to look in depth at scouting and transfers, but no, the one thing that annoys me the most in this game is tactics. And there are a few things I want to touch on here. Now, number 1 is there is a very clear meta in the game. It is this wonderful formation of a 4-2-3-1. Now, in real life, let's be honest, there's a footballing meta. Inverted wing backs, a 4-2-3-1 base formation, and is what a lot of managers and a lot of teams use. So there is no surprise it is the best formation to use on Football Manager because it's the most up-to-date, realistic simulation you can get of a game. But there should be ways to counter the 4-2-3-1 like there is in real life. There should be the ability to play different systems and not feel like you're being punished. I think using like a long ball tactic, as well as you can do it in FM, it should be more accessible and more doable without making weird and wacky requirements to defeat the 4-2-3-1 and even be on par with. If you have the right players, the right signings, the right tactical instructions, you should be able to build whatever tactic you want. And it doesn't feel like that's possible this year, but that's not actually my main gripe. I've gone a little bit off topic here. Now, effectively, what we look at when we come onto the FM tactic screen is the out of possession tactic that we look at. And then you come down here into in possession and you tell the team what to do, as well as when you come into the player and tactics and what they're looking to do, you change it here. So the inverted wing back on support, we know when we go into the match engine, they are going to sit in this sort of inverted position up here. I can't really show you properly because that one's in the way, but that's where the inverted wing back would sit, in this little role here. And it should be so much simpler than that. You should be able to click a button up here, in possession, out of possession, where you can flick between the two and say, out of possession, I want my team to sit in a 4-2-3-1 and I want each position to be doing this role. And then you click in possession and your team then sits in this role with a halfback that drops into the middle. You want your inverted forwards to sit there. You want this DM to sit where I'm trying to put him, and then advance forward up front. You should be able to see how the team actually starts out in both different positions. And this exact thing that I'm doing here, moving players around, to me, should be scrapped. I think this should be free roam. If I were to put this DM here, and this wing back here, and this wing back slightly higher here, I should be able to do that. I don't know if anyone's ever played eFootball. You can do that. You move players to each different position, and that is where they sit. I really do think FM should have this. For being the most realistic simulation of football, it is really frustrating that players can't sit where exactly you want them to. What if I want this wing back to sit slightly deeper and that one slightly higher? Putting them on attack and on support shouldn't be the only way to do that. And even then, you don't really know if that's where they're sitting. Them being on attack just means they're more aggressive when they go forward. But if I don't want them to sit higher up, I want them to sit here but push forward if they want to. The simple things that I think in possession and out of possession, separate tactical screen views would be absolutely massive to creating realistic and creating fun and interesting tactics on FM. And it's something that I think has got to come in. And it's something that I think might actually come in as well, because this was a Reddit post done ages ago when FM25 was looking to come in. And it says all new in possession roles, which would guess that there would be all new out of possession roles as well. The in possession roles that we've got that are brand new for FM25 was playmaker wingback, ball playing goalkeeper, no nonsense goalkeeper, overlapping centre back, and a channel forward. They're amazing things. I'm so happy that these new things are coming into the game. And I think if we have this for in possession, we'll have the exact same for out of possession as well. Something like the pressing forward isn't here, which shows that there's probably going to be a rename in an out of possession role for a pressing forward, which is really good. So I hold very high hope that my wishlist number 1 will actually come to fruition. My wishlist number 2 is international management. Now, this is something which was for sure coming out in 2025, was not going to be part of FM25 at all, but I think it has to be in FM26. We have got possibly the biggest World Cup in recent memory, World Cup 2026, hosted by USA, Canada, and Mexico. That is a massive market for FM to put their game into for new young American fans, Mexican fans, Canadian fans that aren't massively into football or soccer at the moment, but you give them the football simulation game and it might help massively being able to manage the United States to win a World Cup on FM. I'm sure that'll be a massive thing, and they've got to get it right, and they've got to have international management in the game, and it's got to be much better than it is currently. I think international management was always planned to come out for FM25 and back in for FM26. I hope with there being no FM25, they've not scrapped that plan to fix what was a broken FM25. I hope they are still bringing out international management and FM26, because I think it is so important for the game's future in terms of bringing in loads of new players. And just in general, you have to be able to play international management in a World Cup year. For number 3, we are looking into deeper and more advanced scouting. Now, I have done many videos on the channel where we are looking at making different scouting requirements and setting up different filters to find different players, which is really good. It's something that you are able to do on FM. You know, we can look here at trying to find contracts expiring players, and I can plug in exactly what I want to plug in for that and find different players. I think, though, the main thing that we're looking at here is the ability to cross-reference scouting reports. This is something that I saw on Twitter, and I believe it was from RDF. So if you're watching this, Aaron, amazing idea. I think this is 100% since I saw your idea. It has to be in the game. If I come to Rodrigo Bentancur, he has got a scout report done on him. But what RDF was saying is you should be able to cross-reference this with another scout. This report from recruitment team should say this report is from, and we got, if I assign some scouts, I can see some names. This report is from Armand Beckner. Now, Armand Beckner thinks he's very consistent, he's very professional, and is a natural in a few positions. But if we go to assign this scout and it comes through as Tony Cotton says, actually, he's consistent, he is a natural in different positions, but I've heard murmurings that his professional capability is not that good, and that actually he's really bad in the air. You should be able to build a much more detailed report on players through multiple different scouts and multiple different reports. In real life, I find it very hard to believe Manchester United have sent one scout to go and look at Matheus Cunha and they've gone, yes, he's the guy. I guarantee you 5, 6, 7 different people have been to speak to Wolves, have been to talk to Cunha, have been to look into watching different games of Wolves and analyse him, from recruitment analysis to transfer analysis to different players. I imagine they'd have all been to watch him, all the different reports to him, all different things to say, and that would give you a much better understanding of whether to sign a player or not, especially when you get to the year like 2032, where there's a hidden regen in Ivory Coast who's got 5-star potential, looks really good. There could be a second scout report that says, look, there are a few issues with him, rather than just trusting that one scout report. For me, it's very unrealistic and something that should be updated. Now, my penultimate point is going to be that Football Manager 26 should be played in one big universe. Now, I don't know if this is something that has been confirmed or there has been rumours of, or whatever it has been, but obviously there is women's football coming to Football Manager, which is a fantastic thing for the women's game and people looking to get more interested in it. For me, though, to get the most people to play in women's football, it should be in one universe with the men's football as well, so that I could theoretically take a job at, say, the Manchester United women's team, and like Mark Skinner has, and if he does a fantastic job, I should be able to use that on my resume in the same universe and go and get a job at another club, whether that's, you know, a male club at Manchester United men's team. For example, I should be able to manage both in the same universe. As I said, I don't know if this is something that is confirmed or just something that is rumoured to happen. This, for me, has to happen to get the most people to be able to play the women's football. And I think if that happens, loads more people will play it. If it's split out into separate universes, there's a lot of people that are very close-minded to not playing women's football, and they just won't touch that version of the game. If it's in the same universe, though, loads more people will play it. And I think it'll be really enjoyable to create a career where you come up through the women's game and then go over to the men's game. And actually, I think there's another step to that, which I'll add as like a 4.5, is you should be able to manage young teams. You should be able to manage the under 18s, the under 21s. So say, right, this is a career in my head, right? I'm managing the Manchester United under 18s, smash it in the first season, win the league, win the FA Youth Cup, go into the under 21s, do really well, and the Manchester United women's team then go, you know what, come over and manage us. We go manage the Manchester United women's team for 3 years, win the league, back-to-back seasons, win the Women's Champions League, and the Manchester United first team job comes available, and I get that. I have gone through 4 different steps to get to the Manchester United men's job. I've gone from the under 18s, men's club, under 21s in the men's club, then to the women's management job, dominated the women's game, and then I go over and dominate in the men's game as well. That should be something that is available. To come up through the ranks as an under 18s and 21s manager, move into the same universe and go to the women's game and dominate over there like we did in youth football, and then go to the men's game. It would add so much more like story element and so much more realism to a manager. I believe me now, there is no manager out there that has just gone, I'm now going to manage Manchester United. And on FM, that's something you can do. You should have to have a background story, and not have to, because of course some people want to just manage United and they don't want to do anything else. But you should at least be able to put in like a background information about your character of has worked in the under 21s game and now manages Manchester United, or was manager of X team, now manager of Manchester United, rather than just being Joe Blogs from down the road who's apparently got experience in professional football and coaching, now manages Manchester United. To actually add some elements to your character, you should be able to do that, and creating a universe where you could manage in the under 18s, under 21s, women's game and the men's game all at the same time would be fantastic. And the final point that I want to make is all about youth development and youth players. There is a tab on FM called Development Centre, which is really good. I love Development Centre. I spend most of my time here. Under 21s, under 18s football, and then we come to youth candidates. And youth candidates is a screen which I think could be massively utilised and would add such an enjoyment to Football Manager. There is a youngster at the moment at Manchester United. I believe his name is JJ Gabriel. He's 14. He's made appearances to the under 18s. I believe he's potentially making, or has made under 21s as well. I might be wrong in that. Definitely under 18s he's made performances of. He's 14, right? And everyone at Manchester United that follows the Youth Academy knows who this guy is. On Football Manager, I should be able to see, right, there is this 13-year-old which has scored 74 goals in 26 games playing for Barnet's under 15s, whatever. He's playing up 3 years. As the coach of United, and on FM, you're not just a manager. Obviously, you are basically the whole club. I should be able to go and be like, look, mate, come and join United's Youth Academy and we'll progress you. And I should be able to track his development in this youth candidate screen. That would be so fun. So fun to be able to go and find young players like happens in real life when the Fletcher brothers, for example, Tyler and Jack Fletcher, who were at the City Academy, United went and poached them, and they're now on FM as 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds. It would be amazing to go and do that on FM as well. Go and look at the different academies around the world and try and find some young talent out there which you could bring to your club and then watch them develop in this youth candidate screen. Almost like you had the under 21s, the under 18s, and then this should be a drop down as well of youth candidates. Look at your under 17s, 16s, 15s, 14s, 13s, and see, who's being a superstar. Is this person going to get fast-tracked? Could I move this 13-year-old up to the under 16s? Like JJ Gabriel, could I use this 14-year-old, try him on the under 18s, see how he does? He's absolutely smashed it. We've now got this much more information on his stats and his ability. He's a very determined character. And you then go through there. I think that'd be so fun, adding another completely different realism aspect. And for someone that does youth-only rebuilds like I've done loads recently. A recent one in Greece was really fun. Because I was doing just youth only, we were making money from selling players to Inter Milan and Napoli, etc. I could reinvest that money because I'm not going to the transfer market to buy players, reinvest that into going to find the best 14-year-olds in Greece before they join Panathinaikos, PAOK, or even when they're in their academy, and show them a clear path to the first team. And that would be really fun. I think it's something that should come into the game and be really enjoyable. That's my top 5 things that I want to see in FM26. And if that comes to the game, my God, am I going to have some serious fun. And again, I preface this video at the end just saying I do think FM26 will come out. I have pretty much no doubt about that whatsoever. And I'm really excited for it to come out. And let me know your guys' wish list in the comments down below. I just keep everything positive. FM26, good vibes. It will be there. And hopefully it will be on 20k subs by the time that happens as well. Because you've just hit that subscribe button. And a massive thank you for doing that. And I'll speak to you next time.